Social media was set ablaze this Saturday night and Sunday morning as a mysterious object confused and scared the crap out of Southern California residents. Many people thought they saw UFOs, a meteor shower, aliens, nuclear weapons, and with the treasonous corporate bought, bankster-controlled, secretive, tyrannical government that we have, anything is possible. Now, the first news report said that it was just a meteor shower. It's not a UFO. Don't worry. People in Arizona even saw this strange light in the sky all the way from Southern California. The official U.S. Army base in Vandenberg said that they're not conducting any rocket tests. And, of course, it came out that it was a secretive government operation, military exercises off the Catalina Islands. People saw lights and lasers all the way from the coastline, all the way in Arizona. The U.S. government, of course, did not give any warning that this was happening in any way, shape, or form, and it surprised the crap out of all the residents in that region. Similar exercises have happened in Southern California and Florida in September of this year alone. And many people are asking what the hell is happening. Obviously, planes are being diverted from LAX so people don't get a view of what's actually happening in this specific region. And of course, the government just came out saying, we cannot say anything. This is top secret. It's a secret U.S. government operation. Now, if we look, there's two major issues of concern here. If we look at U.S. secret government operations, you can see the extent of human damage that they cause on the U.S. American public. If you just look at the first atomic bomb tests that were done in this country, U.S. civilians, knowingly by the U.S. government, were exposed to dangerous levels of radiation. If we look at the first tests, U.S. soldiers were sent to stand in the blast area so they could test the effects of radiation that the U.S. government knew would kill them and injure them tremendously. During the Manhattan Project, the U.S. government came to a hospital in Chicago, and unsuspecting patients who were sitting in their bed were just applied weapons-grade plutonium into their blood. Many of these patients died under Project Oak Ridge. The U.S. government, under secret government operations, uses you as the guinea pig, and now they're conducting more secret government operations in Southern California, and no one knows what the hell's going on. Everyone's speculating, but if you look at the history of government operations, you know that they will cause some kind of effect on the human population. The second issue of concern is what's happening geopolitically with the United States. If we look at what's happening in Syria, we have countries like Iran, Iraq, Syria, Jordan, Russia, and China fighting against the Syrian rebels and ISIS trying to keep Assad in power. On the other side, we have Turkey, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United States funding these rebels, including ISIS, to get rid of Assad. On the ground, U.S. troops are fighting alongside these rebels. Russia has troops on the ground fighting against these rebels, which could lead to a possible World War III scenario at any time, which could also explain these military exercises. Of course, we cannot confirm or deny 100% because the government, of course, is being tyrannical and tight-lipped and secretive. Good news came out just a few days ago. The Russian and the United States, to prevent this World War III, actually held joint exercises in Syria to make sure that they don't bomb and attack each other. This was great news until the news came out from the U.S. government that they're actually sending dogfighters to Syria. Dogfighters, specific F-15 CS fighter jets that are meant to have air-to-air combat. They're not meant to be bombers who are supposed to be bombing ISIS. They're meant to go after any Air Force in the region, and the Air Force in the region, of course, is Russia. The United States, who has been conducting a military bombing campaign in Syria for the past 13 months, supposedly bombing ISIS, has just stopped this bombing because of poor weather conditions. Obviously, this does not stop the Russians in any way, shape, or form, but the question has to be asked: the United States, for 13 months, who has been bombing ISIS, have actually helped the growth of ISIS through their bombing campaigns and had no effect on ISIS in any way, shape, or form when they said they were bombing ISIS. Russia, just within the past few days, just within the past few weeks, bombing ISIS has had tremendous effects in the region, and ISIS is retreating and ISIS is being obliterated by the Russian Air Force in this region. Many military experts are saying that we are undermining Russia's military power and that they are surprised at how effective they actually are in Syria against ISIS. There's other news reports saying that a legendary U.S. Army commander says that Russia would annihilate the United States in the head-to-head battle, and that's what it looks like it's coming to with these two major superpowers fighting off geopolitically against each other in the Middle East. If this wasn't enough issue of concern, the United States is also testing and pushing against China in the South Asian Sea, with China creating their own man-made islands, their own man-made military bases. The United States, for some reason, thinks it's a great idea to send their military aircraft and their ships into the region, and the Chinese are saying that they're disrespecting their territory and that they will strike back. The U.S. answered back by sending even more warships into the regions, more of their airplanes into regions, and this could also potentially lead to another World War III scenario. And I'm not just saying this lightly. You could look at the congressional hearings that just happened this week in the United States, and if you look at them, the Senate Arms Select Committee held a lengthy hearing on cyber warfare. In the afternoon, the subcommittee of the House Armed Services Committee discussed the present size and deployment of U.S. fleet of aircraft carriers all around the world, while another subcommittee on the same panel discussed the modernization of U.S. nuclear weapons, which could also explain why there's these strange missiles flying up in the air and the U.S. government not saying anything to its people. This could also be the U.S. government flexing their military might to let China and Russia know, look at what we could do with these ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, aka just big nuclear warheads that could fly really, really far away. Because if they really wanted to keep it secretive, they would have done it more inside of the Pacific. According to many experts, a lot of these weapons and a lot of these missiles that people are seeing in the sky are being shot out by submarines that obviously could go a lot deeper in the Pacific Ocean and not scare the crap out of the American public. Obviously, nothing is confirmed because the government is secretive, but obviously it is up to no good in any way, shape, or form. But the mainstream media is telling you, no, there's no issue of concern. There's a reason you're only hearing this news on independent media that's not controlled by any banksters or corporate entity in any way, shape, or form. So if you like it, support us. Check out our store by going to We Are Change store, wearechange.org/store, and supporting real independent media, because you're getting news here that you won't get anywhere else. Thank you again so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. We're going to have a lot more content coming here your way on youtube.com/We Are Change.